Not infrequently, I am told by bodybuilders that they enjoy the personal fashion in which my articles and books communicate to them. My writings are meaningful to many because in addition to dealing with limited bodybuilding issues, I also address their deepest concerns and interests. For instance, scores of bodybuilders from around the world who read my book, Heavy Duty 1, have informed me that it seemed like Chapter 1, entitled Bodybuilders Are Confused, was written specifically with him in mind. That through some special power, I was able to divine what was in his soul, and then make explicitly clear what he had only kinda, sorta known, or had merely sensed theretofore. Each was effusively grateful for what in effect was my having lifted the veil of mystification that had enshrouded his thinking and kept him confused on the subject of how to best proceed with his training. I accomplished this by logically identifying the nature and source of their confusion. It is this, understanding the nature and source of one's confusion, which is the first step toward resolving it. And make no mistake, confusion, self-doubt, and uncertainty can be monstrously intolerable, most assuredly incompatible with self-esteem, confidence, and happiness. Of course, I possess no special, non-rational insight which enables me to perceive things that others do not. I have diligently trained myself to use logic to be able to make valid, philosophic, scientific identifications of the facts of reality, something that anyone with a normal, intact, functioning brain and the appropriate motivation can learn to do. It is not my intention to merely provide the listener with another bodybuilding program and expect you to then blindly follow it. That would not be worth much long range. Instead, my purpose is to teach you to think logically about training and nutrition so that ultimately you'll be able to think independently about these subjects and thus become your own trainer, your own coach, and never again have to rely on the suspect opinion of others. And how do you put a price tag on that? That would be of inestimable value, for as wonderful as it may be to have a well-developed physique, without the ability to think logically and effectively about a subject that you have been passionately committed to, you are, in effect, consigning yourself to living as one half of a human being, a muscular individual who can't even think about that which is of enormous concern and interest. An interesting side note here, it was just 6 years ago that I decided to undertake a study and gain as thorough an understanding as possible of the nature of logic. I did so to improve my thinking on all important issues, including the theory of high-intensity training. I realized that if I wanted to be better able to develop my training clients' muscles, I had to further develop my mind. In the process of learning to think logically about bodybuilding, you'll learn something about the nature of thought itself, which can then be extended to other areas of life. And with continued effort and study, you'll soon make the delightful discovery that you've been developing your intellectual range and thereby maturing as a human being should. The practical result is that you become a more efficacious individual with considerable dominion or control over his being. Why not consecrate this moment to that goal of not just actualizing your full muscular potential, but to the constant active expansion of your knowledge to an ever-widening range of achievement, including the reaching of your full human stature, which can be accomplished only by learning how to think properly, logically, not merely about the best manner in which to proceed with your bodybuilding, but about all of the crucial fundamental issues of human existence. It was Aristotle, the discoverer of the laws of logic, the principles of thought, who said that a friend is that other person in whom one sees himself, one's values reflected in the person of another. Those who find my philosophy interesting and attractive share a certain mutuality of values with me, if not always on the level of explicit verbalized understanding, at least in terms of subconscious, emotional, or sense of life affinity. I find this encouraging as I have worked conscientiously over a span of many years developing my philosophy, especially that aspect of most central significance, my values, which are of a positive nature. Specifically, I value reason, objectivity, logic, knowledge, science, human progress, and happiness. The reason why the world has descended to the lowest rung of hell in man's history is because, despite the lip service paid them, such life-affirming values no longer predominate. The fact that so many bodybuilders possess a pro-mind, pro-life philosophy, or sense of life, means that there is still hope for man's long-range survival and success. What relevance do these issues have in a tape series about bodybuilding? They are eminently relevant if you are sincerely interested in developing your body, the most vitally important aspect, of course, being the brain. Bear in mind that bodybuilding does not exist in a vacuum apart from the rest of life, and that as a human being, knowledge is your means of achieving your goals. So, of course, the greater your knowledge, the greater your ability to reason, the more likely you'll achieve your goals.